Hey, I'm back. Welcome back to my weekly prediction video. I make these videos for people who want to watch them, but they also help me because I'm just making this video because it helps me think and just talk through why I'm picking what I'm picking. So, yeah, last week let me see. How did we do last week? 318. I think I made a 318 video. I actually finally got a main event prediction right. Holloway won. And originally I thought Poirier, but then I switched to Holloway. But the main card, those first 4 fights on the main card, that was a terrible stretch for me. I mean, I did really well on all the other fights, though. I got every fight right. Except for Prachnio got caught in an armbar, and then Prado won, but it was a robbery. Anyways, it was just a bad decision, I thought. Yeah. But in terms of my predictions, I could never have seen Daniel Rodriguez beating Kevin Holland. That still doesn't even make sense to me. Even if if you're telling me, oh, Daniel Rodriguez beat Kevin Holland, it's how? He cracked him. He cracked him 3 or 4 times really, really badly. So, good on him, man. Pitbull was a shock beating Ige because he looked so bad against Yair. Michael Johnson beating Zellhuber was obviously a shock. And then Costa beating Coppola was just also a shock. I mean, yeah, it was a weird card, but it was okay. It was an okay card. I'm excited for this one. They always stack the Abu Dhabi cards. Reinier de Ritter versus Robert Whittaker is a very interesting main event to me. Because I could have never seen de Ritter in this spot when he made his debut, but he's gotten so much better. From the Mearshart fight to the Bo Nickel fight, he's gotten so much better. And we'll get to that later, but I'm just going to start at the beginning of the card, which I always do. And I'm probably going to go quick through these leading up and then maybe take a little longer for the main event. But I can be quick with these. Marcus Buchecha versus Martin Buday. Martin Buday is so bad, and I just constantly am going to pick against him, even though he keeps winning, I guess. The guy who he was fighting last time was a light heavyweight, and that guy was so small in there. So Buday just cage control time. That's how Buday wins his fights. It's just boring cage control time. Somehow he's ranked. I mean, that just shows how bad the light heavyweight is. How bad the heavyweight division is. They keep trying to throw these new prospects in there, like Teixeira and these other guys, but they keep flopping, and eventually one of these guys, though, they're going to break through. So this guy, Marcus Buchecha, apparently has good jiu-jitsu, which means Buday can't just clinch control him on the cage. And Buchecha should be able to take him down and submit him pretty easily. So I'm going to go Buchecha first round submission. Steven Nguyen versus Muhammad Yahya. I'm going to go with Steven here not because I've seen him fight, it's just because I know that Muhammad Yahya is incapable of winning a fight in the UFC. He got destroyed by Trevor Peek. It was where Trevor Peek was able to do the hammer fist thing. And that's when Trevor Peek got a lot of hype. But it turns out Trevor Peek was just never that good. And he got destroyed in his next fight. Trevor Peek did. I'm not sure this guy Steven's any good either, but Peek got a lot of hype from that, like I said. But it turns out Muhammad Yahya is just that bad. I don't think either of these guys are really good, but this guy Yahya was fighting this guy Fernandez, who's not that good. I'll say it again. Fernandez, who he was fighting, is not that good. but he got, I mean, Muhammad Yahya maybe didn't even land a single strike that entire fight, man. I can never pick Muhammad Yahya to win a fight. Stephen Nguyen could be like trash. I'll still pick him to beat Muhammad Yahya. Stephen Nguyen, probably decision or knockout. Let's go 30-27 decision win. Yeah. And then Billy Elikana versus Ivo Aslan's next. This is an interesting fight. I remember Elikana's debut at 311 against that guy. He fought Guskov on short notice. And he's usually a middleweight, if I'm not mistaken, but he moved up to light heavyweight and he looked a little out of shape. But he was still able to take Guskov down, take his back, and almost submit him in the first round, but then he gassed out and got knocked out in the second. But I don't think that says anything about I think it just says it was short notice, and I'm banking that his cardio will be better this time. But his BJJ really impressed me against Guskov, who's a ranked guy who's very good. Billy Elikana, his strong suit is Aslan's weakness, which is the ground game. I mean, I think his ground game is wonderful, and Ivo Aslan has zero ground game. I mean, Iwan Kutsalaba is not that good, but he took down and submitted Aslan with ease, man. I think Elikana will be able to do the same thing and get him out of there. I'm going to go with Elikana to win by first round submission. If he can't take him down, which I'm just not even going to say that because I think he will be able to. But if it's on the feet, I'd go with Aslan to knock him out. But I think Elikana is going to come in there watching Aslan's last fight and say, I can do that. And he takes him down and submits him. Let's move on. Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha Ricci. I'm going to be honest, I've never seen Amanda Ribas fight. I've probably seen her fight 7 times, but I've never seen her fight at the same time. She's just probably just that NPC woman fighter who's decent, who's a little bit above average. She's just that NPC. Tabitha Ricci is the women's NPC fighter who is bad. And she won a fight against Raquel Pennington's sister. Or maybe it's her wife. By a split decision where I thought she lost. But everyone was hyping her up going into that. And I was like, okay, let's go. And she looked really bad. She got the split decision win somehow. And then they put her in the co-main event, I think, of the China card last year. And she got destroyed by Yan Xiaonan, who got destroyed by Zhang Weili. And Zhang Weili's really good, but Tabitha, was looked at as, she can maybe beat Yan Xiaonan. And yeah, she's not on that level. She's not on the top level. She's not even close to that top level. She's okay, at best. And Ribas, I haven't seen her fight, so I don't know, but I'm going to assume she's better than Ricci because I just think Ricci's not that good. So I'm going to go Ribas by decision. Damone Blackshear versus Davy Grant. Davy Grant just looks like such a weirdo. He beat Ramon Tavares, but Ramon Tavares was always overrated. He beat Daniel Marcos, though. He beat Daniel Marcos and got robbed. But it turns out Daniel Marcos just isn't that good. Davy Grant's pretty good, man. He's pretty solid. But he's only getting older. I saw Damone Blackshear fight in person. And I actually thought he lost that fight. I was at that card in Kansas City, and I was watching it, and I said, damn, dude, the guy from China was cracking him. It's going to say, and I'm just looking right here, so I'm not just going to say it's going to say like it is saying. On the numbers, Blackshear outstruck him by a lot, and that may be true, but in terms of the impact of the shots, if you look at the first round of Holland versus Rodriguez, Holland outstruck him, but Rodriguez clearly won the first round because he just was cracking him. And in the second and third round, the guy from China was cracking Blackshear. Blackshear has a chin on him, but he got knocked down in 18 seconds by Montel Jackson, but he has a chin on him. And, like, I thought that the guy from China won that fight. Blackshear's striking is not that good. I was surprised he didn't even try to take him down. Maybe it was like a Bo Nickel thing where he was trying to prove a point, but also it's like, why are you not taking this guy down? I mean, Blackshear's jiu-jitsu is very good. And he's usually able to get these guys out of there. But I don't think he's at the top level. Is Davey Grant at the top level? No. Is Blackshear? No. This is like a coin flip to me. It's a tough one to predict. But I always like to go with a guy who is just a lot younger, has like title hopes potentially in the future. Davey Grant, he'll never be champ. He knows he'll never be champ. Blackshear is hungry. Like I said, he was getting cracked against the guy from China, but he was outlanding him because he was throwing just a crazy amount of output out there. I just didn't like his game plan, not taking him down, and that makes me worried that he won't even try to take Grant down. Because I think his path to victory is taking Grant down and submitting him, but Grant could also put up a good fight. Oh, if it stays on the feet, I think Grant could beat him for sure. I'm just going to go with the guy who I think is more athletic, better, younger, Blackshear. But I'm worried about his IQ. I don't want him to keep it on the feet. If he does, I think he could lose. He probably will. Take him down, though, and submit him in the first round or second round. So, big old Blackshear by first round sub. All right. Muslim Salikov versus Carlos Leal. I didn't watch Leal's fight with Rinat Fakhretdinov. But from what I hear, is that it was a robbery, and that he won. And then he goes out there. His next fight, they give him a layup. Alex Morano, and he did what he was supposed to do, brutally knocked him out in the first round. Now, Salikov's not going to be as easy as Morano. I mean, Salikov's a tough cookie, but you can get him out of there for sure. I mean, but he does surprise us every once in a while. I mean, he put up a good fight against Ponzinibbio. I thought he was going to lose that. It was a very close fight, and I thought Ponzinibbio won, but at the same time, like, yeah, it was probably, it could have gone either way. You can't get mad at that. But yeah, going back, Salikov is just really old though. He's like 10 years older than Leal, and Leal is being treated like a prospect. He's not a prospect though. He's just a guy. You know, he's very good though. A lot of power. Salikov likes to be at like a range and just a tit for tat. Ponzinibbio gave him that. I don't think Leal will give him that. I think Leal will pressure and knock him out in the first round. But Salikov could surprise us all. Who knows? But I'm going to go with Leal first round KO. And then the next one, Said Nurmagomedov versus Bryce Mitchell. This one and the next one, or no, not the two after this. This one, I've been going back and forth in my head. Look, Mitchell's accumulated a lot of damage in there in his career. There's something to be said about that, about a guy who, like, has been knocked down so many times, choked unconscious, many times, but he's beaten a lot of good guys, Bryce Mitchell has. In terms of he's beaten Dan Ige, Edson Barboza, Andre Fili. Good wins. But he's losing to Josh Emmett. He's losing, like, Ilya and John Silva. Those are fine losses. Like, and Josh Emmett chinned him. Bryce Mitchell is a lay and pray fighter. That's how he wins his fights. If they stay on the feet, he gets destroyed because he has, like, elementary level striking. It's really bad. So he's worse on the feet. Also, Nurmagomedov has great scrambles, great jiu-jitsu, his guillotine, and he might just end up on his back from going for guillotines, but I don't blame him because his guillotine is so tight. And once he gets that fully locked in, it's over for Mitchell. Similar to the Silva ninja choke that he hit on Mitchell, I think Nurmagomedov locks up something similar. It's going to be night-night for Mitchell because Mitchell, that's what he does. He shoots a lot of blast double legs. Yeah, maybe we'll grab a single leg, but he just kind of just shoots aimlessly. That's what he was doing at Silva, and he left his neck out there a lot. And Silva punished him for it. And his jiu-jitsu is not like, it's not like Gian Silva's jiu-jitsu is like, oh my gosh, Silva's jiu-jitsu is crazy. No. Nurmagomedov's jiu-jitsu is crazy, actually. His guillotine is crazy, and Mitchell can be hit by a guillotine. That's like the one thing that's going to get him. That's like the most likely sub you're going to get him with is a guillotine. So I think Mitchell goes in there, aimlessly shoots takedowns like always, tries to lay and pray. Maybe he does lay and pray and like win one round. But like I said, Nurmagomedov has good scrambles. Will outstrike him on the feet. It could be a close like split decision where Mitchell gets a lot of control time. Nurmagomedov outlands him and they give it to Mitchell just because control time. It's a weird decision, but it seems like Nurmagomedov gassed out against Vinicius and that's why he got control. It seems like he's not content with being on his back. Like if he goes for the guillotine, doesn't get it, he wants to scramble, but Mitchell's ground control is good, and he's going to be big for this weight class. I mean, I think he was always small for featherweight, but he's going to be big for this weight class for sure. Bigger than Saeed by a little bit. Now, that doesn't really matter as much. Under Nurmagomedov in a grappling match, which is what this will be. If not, Nurmagomedov could knock him out. But Nurmagomedov in a grappling match, I'm going to go with him. And that sounds kind of cliche. But this Nurmagomedov, Saeed Nurmagomedov, against a guy who has no striking, who is just going to dive at his legs constantly. I'm going to go with Saeed. I'm going to go with Saeed in this one. But I did kind of go back and forth because Mitchell was able to beat some guys. But like the guys he's beating are able to be controlled. I don't think Nurmagomedov's going to be content. And Nurmagomedov has been fighting at bantamweight, so he's just more skilled relative to featherweight. So, yeah, let's move on. Krylov versus Guskov. I'm going to go with Krylov. Like I said earlier, Guskov really looked bad against Elikana, but I think Elikana's ground game solid. But Guskov has shown a vulnerability in the ground game, and Krylov is a beast. I think Krylov will be able to take him down and submit him. It's on the feet. I favor Guskov, but Krylov's also good on the feet, although he did get chinned his last fight. It's kind of a long time ago. 3 months ago. I mean, he's taking some time off. He's back. I'm glad he's staying active. I don't think getting knocked out maybe will have a little bit of an effect, but I think he will have recovered enough to be able to beat Guskov. Guskov could chin him, but I just don't think Guskov's ground game is good enough. I think Krylov knows that, and he'll take him down and submit him. So, Krylov by first round submission. All right. Ochoa versus Amabayev. Ochoa, I picked Durden to beat Ochoa, but Ochoa is so crisp and so powerful for the weight class. I mean, he was clipping Durden. I mean, Durden kind of does go in there aimlessly, just like with his head down, just running straight forward, and Ochoa punished him for it. In that fight, it was only a matter of time before Ochoa got the knockout the way he was fighting. He's fighting a guy, Amabayev, who also has very bad striking, aimless striking. It looks like when Amabayev's striking that he maybe hits pads like once a week. And that's it. Maybe twice a week. But when he's in there with a technical guy like Ochoa, he's going to look awful on the feet. Like Ochoa will embarrass him on the feet. The question is, can Amabayev take him down and control him like he does to everybody and win a boring decision? I'd say potentially. Ochoa had good scrambles against Durden, and he did stuff a couple takedowns, but Amabayev's takedowns will be a little bit better than Durden's, a little more calculated, a little more technical. But I just see Ochoa. I see Amabayev not being able to submit Ochoa. Maybe he'll take him down a couple times, but I don't think he'll find the sub. I think Ochoa will be able to scramble. He trains at Shoot Box. I love those guys. He'll have great scrambles. Charles Oliveira will have taught him well with great submission defense. Yeah, Amabayev might control him, but he'll land no damage. And when it's on the feet, Ochoa will be out damaging him. So I'm going to go Ochoa, maybe by knockout. He could get a knockout in there, or it could be just a decision for Ochoa. But I think Ochoa is gonna win that. I think Amabayev is a durable guy. So I'm going to pick Ochoa by the 30-27 decision. All right, let's move on. Shara Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriault. This is like very obviously Shara Magomedov for me. It's like this is just a clear mismatch. I think they want to get Shara just a layup, a free win, so to speak. Get back in the win column on the main card of Abu Dhabi where he fights. Like, get his name back out there. Michael Page destroyed him in his last fight, schooled him, and made him take kind of a reset on his career, although he does have that spinning back fist. Knockout, he'll always have that, but this made him really take a good look, a back step, and say, okay, in terms of the rankings, in terms of where he has at in the title picture, he needs to take a step back and just kind of work his way back up. So, but Barriault is at the end. I mean, he's bad. He's really bad. He's at the end of his career. Brutally knocked out by Pfeiffer. Brutally knocked out by Stoltzfus. Brutally knocked out by somebody else. Somebody else brutally knocked him out. He gets brutally knocked out, it feels like, in every fight. And he's beating these old heads. I mean, Chris Curtis sucks. Chris Curtis beat him. He beat Silva's an old head. I can't pick Barriault. I'm going to pick Magomedov by a knockout. I think he'll get him out of there, yeah. Magomedov's kicks are crazy because he like a body kick TKO. Magomedov doesn't have like crazy power with his hands, but he can knock people out for sure. Maybe a head kick. Let's go Magomedov second round knockout. Cool. The co-main event is Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee. I remember Marcus McGee about 2 years ago. I think it was his debut against this guy named JP Buys. And I remember I was like, let's go McGee, you got this. I was rooting for McGee. No. No, yeah, they were like, oh, this guy's a prospect. He was undefeated, I think. No, he had one loss. He has one loss, but I was like, let's go, McGee, you got this. And he knocked him out in the first round with ease. He looked really good, but again, that's against JP Buys. And then he knocked out Bolanos, Ilya Taporia at home. And then that guy sucks too. But he went in there against Martinez, the guy who's very overrated, and got fraud checked by Jose Aldo, who just relies on leg kicks. Leg kick. Very powerful leg kicks, though. Almost finished, should have finished McGee. Martinez should have finished McGee. He had McGee limping. He couldn't even stand on his leg. And then he clinched up with him for like a minute. He hit him with a leg kick. McGee could barely walk. And Martinez ran up and clinched him up against the cage for like a minute. I was like, what are you doing? McGee on the feet is fast. He beat Martinez, though. I mean, he beat him by decision. 29-28. He won the first 2 rounds and then almost got knocked out in the third, but he survived, I guess. Good on him for that, but he has no ground game. Peter Yan has decent wrestling, too, but I think this will play out on the feet. Yan beats everybody, man. Like, Yan has never clearly lost to somebody other than Merab. But Merab's built different. Merab is different than Marcus McGee, for sure. I mean, I thought Jan beat O'Malley. I thought Sterling beat him in their first fight, but Jan destroyed Sandhagen. He was beating Sterling. He knocked Aldo out in their title fight. I mean, I got to go with Jan to destroy McGee. McGee's quick, but he's like a 35-year-old prospect. Jan's still in that title picture, potentially. He's not going to get a rematch with Merab. He just needs to wait for someone else to get the title, and then he can hop in there. Because everybody knows what would happen if him and Merab fought again. But he'll be able to get McGee out of there, probably. But it could just go the distance because Jan's not like the best finisher when it comes to like early finishes. He could, though. McGee's just not good enough. I mean, McGee may win the first round because he's quick, and then Jan takes time to get his reads. But Jan will win the second, get his reads, piece him up on the feet. McGee will slow down. Jan could get him out of there in the third round, or maybe just piece him up so badly to a 10-8 round in the third. I see Jan 29-28 or 29-27. I'll go with 29-28. Yeah, for Jan. Yeah. But it's not going to be like when I say 29-28, you're like, oh, it's close. It's going to be 29-28, but it's not going to be a close fight. You're going to be like, yeah, Jan beat his ass. For sure. Okay. Now it's the main event. Robert Whittaker versus Reinier de Ridder. If this fight was made before the Hamzat fight, everybody would be picking Whittaker. Everybody. But now we know. These guys fight people, and then we find out about them. We find out about their weaknesses. And for de Ridder, it's weird how he had a worse performance against Gerald Meerschaert than he did against Bo Nickel. You could say, oh, Bo Nickel sucks. He was never... Bo Nickel is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And de Ridder controlled him for 2 minutes. De Ridder reversed him because Bo pulled guard and went for a guillotine. And de Ridder put his feet up on the fence, reversed him, and controlled him for 2 minutes. Bo couldn't get up from underneath de Ridder. If Bo Nickel couldn't get up from underneath Reinier de Ridder, Robert Whittaker will not be able to get up from Reinier de Ridder. Not even close. Question is, Robert Whittaker's not going to pull a guillotine, so how does de Ridder get up? De Ridder is going to be able to trip him, drag him to the ground like he does to everybody. He has great judo, like trips. He could also grab a single leg like he did against Holland, but he's stronger, he's bigger. He's going to be able to muscle Whittaker to the ground. Whittaker, believe it or not, he's small for middleweight. He could be a welterweight. I think he just thrives at middleweight because he's skilled. He's more skilled than these guys, that they are a welterweight. Like, simple as that. But when he faces a guy who's bigger and stronger, like Hamzat, dude, Hamzat just ragdolled him. Whittaker didn't land a strike that entire fight. He didn't land a strike against Hamzat. Hamzat did what he does against... I mean, Hamzat doesn't do that against everybody, though. You could say, oh, but that's Hamzat. He does that to everybody. But Hamzat doesn't do that to everybody. Hamzat took Burns down like twice, and he only controlled him for like 2 minutes each. Maybe 1 minute. So, I'm talking Hamzat doesn't do that to everybody. I think it just exposed a vulnerability about Robert Whittaker that no one else has been able to, because no one else really has that style. Yeah, he fought Yoel Romero, but Yoel Romero took him down, I think, probably a couple times. And Yoel Romero's not like a Hamzat or a de Ridder. And yeah, I am comparing de Ridder to Hamzat because de Ridder has a great ground game, and this is what he does. He pressures you, he takes you down, and he submits you like Hamzat does. But Hamzat does it quicker. De Ridder may need time to build, and in that time de Ridder needs to build, can Whittaker knock him out? No, I don't think so. I don't think Whittaker has that power. Yeah, he knocked Aliskerov out, but Aliskerov is super chinny. Yeah, de Ridder, his 2 losses are by knockout, but they're against a knockout at light heavyweight, I think, against the guy who was on the sauce. Whittaker doesn't hit even close to as hard as that guy. De Ridder, I've picked against him every time he's fought. I picked Mearshart to beat him, and I was like, okay, bet. Mearshart was beating him. He got Mearshart out of there. I picked Holland to beat him. He got Holland out of there. I picked Bo Nickel to beat him. He got Bo Nickel out of there. And I'm not going to pick Whittaker. I'm not going to pick De Ridder. I'm not picking De Ridder just because, I need to pick him because I picked against him 3 times. No, I just think what I've seen from him, he will be able to beat Robert Whittaker. He will be able to beat Robert Whittaker. And like I said, if Robert Whittaker had never fought Hamza, if that fight never happened, most people would be picking Whittaker. Whittaker would be a big favorite going into this one. But now people see it as, okay, wait, we've exposed a vulnerability about Whittaker. And now this is what happens, like sometimes when people lose in a certain way, they get dominated in a certain way. This is kind of what I'm saying about Guskov. Guskov got dominated on the ground by Elikana. I think Krylov will see that and say, yeah, I can do the same thing. Because once some people lose in a certain way, you realize, okay, this is how I can beat this guy. And then everybody beats him like that. Maybe with Elikana and Aslan, it's like, okay, he got dominated on the ground, now I can do that. With Whittaker, it's going to be the same thing. With De Ridder, you can see, that's what I thought. I thought, people were going to see that he got knocked out and just knock him out. But it's less simple than that because it's more complicated than that because he wasn't just getting chinned. He doesn't have no chin. De Ridder has a chin. So that's not where the vulnerability is. The vulnerability is he fought a guy on the sauce who just had an insane amount of power. Whittaker's not on the sauce. He's smaller than Malkin, the guy who knocked De Ridder out. Like, if it's on the feet, though, Whittaker's better. I mean, Whittaker is just better on the feet. He's more technical, and he'll be able to out-kickbox him and out-point him if it's on the feet, but it won't be. It won't be on the feet. De Ridder will clinch him, hit him with nasty knees to the body in the clinch, punches, elbows in the clinch, drag him to the ground, and submit him. And if you're picking Whittaker, I think you're just picking him because you're a fan of him. Because he's cool, man. He has some good kickboxing, and it's fun. But I don't think he'll actually be able to do anything to stop De Ridder's takedowns. You know, when we pick these fights, we have images of these guys in our heads based off of their other fights. Some guy had no fights, we would have no idea about him. But now, this is how I predict fights. I think about the image I have of somebody in my head, the image I have of another person in my head, and you see what it would look like when they fight. When Whittaker fought Duplessis, the image that we all had in our head of Whittaker, why he was such a big favorite, was that Whittaker has great takedown defense. Whittaker has great takedown defense, great wrestling. Duplessis won't be able to drag him down and control him. But he did. He dragged him down and controlled him. Pretty easily, too. So, when that happened, our image changed of Whittaker. And then it's like, okay, he fought Costa. Aliskerov, maybe that's why people were picking Aliskerov. I picked Whittaker to beat Aliskerov, but a lot of people were picking Aliskerov. The guys who Whittaker's fighting, he's not fighting like great wrestlers. Aliskerov, yeah, he's from Dagestan or Chechnya or Dagestan. He's from Russia, but he's not a great wrestler. It's not his game. His game is striking. The great wrestlers who Whittaker's had to fight, like Hamzat. I wouldn't call Duplessis a great wrestler, but he's pretty good. Next up, De Ridder. I'm sorry, Whittaker. I like you, man. But I think we see De Ridder take him down, lock something up. Maybe he gets top mount and gets some weird, like, Ezekiel choke. He has a fucking long-ass arms. it's some Ezekiel choke or arm triangle or arm bar even or triangle or inverted triangle or anaconda or darce or mounted guillotine or rear naked or armbar from the, like, he has so many weapons. He could do anything he wants to do with Whittaker on the ground. Can he get him there? Yes. I think De Ridder takes him down, submits him, and then he just has that smile on his face, like always. Whenever he fucking submits somebody, he just walks around like with his mouthpiece, yeah, like he did against Holland, Mearshart, and Bo Nickel. He's gonna be walking around that Abu Dhabi octagon with that big smirk on his face because he knows he's in the title picture now. So, picking De Ridder by sub, and I like De Ridder. I like his BJJ. It's cool. De Ridder by sub. First round. Let's see if we can keep the main event streak hot now that we're on a roll with Max. So, all right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.